So we're here in Coral Gables. I'm with Dr. Epstein. Tell me a little bit about how Miami's becoming the new center of the world for hair restoration.
Well, it's funny that you call it the new center for hair restoration. I think more importantly, or more accurately, Miami's becoming recognized as the hub for aesthetic hair restoration.
And why do you think people originally started to go overseas for hair restoration as opposed to doing it here in the States?
Sure, that started around 8 years ago. I mean, here in Miami, we've always had some of the Latin American countries, in particular Colombia, Guatemala, Dominican Republic, just to name a few, that have been associated with plastic surgery, what we call tourism surgery. And so that's always been a phenomenon. But what happened around 8 years ago, the country of Turkey decided to market themselves as the low-cost hair transplant center. And they went full force, and they had the support, and they still do, the support of the government, the Turkish government, to drive primarily European and American tourists, specifically for the purpose of getting transplant procedures.
Tell me why you think staying here in the States, specifically in Miami, is the most beneficial for hair restoration procedures.
You know, you get what you pay for. And when you come into my office, you're going to recognize this is a practice. I've been doing this to the highest standards for 30 plus years. You know, besides I have, my team of nurse practitioners and my nurses and my nurse anesthetist for anesthesia. Obviously it's me being a board certified surgeon who's at the helm of the entire team, but I also have 14 full-time hair techs. And most of these people are with me for 15 to 20 years. This is what we do. We specialize in this. And so it's a well-coordinated procedure from start to finish. You come in, and my patients are greeted. We usually start cases very early in the morning. There's someone waiting for my patients to show up. Nurses check the patients in. I meet the patient. And then the procedure proceeds typically anywhere from 6 to as long as 11 or 12 hours. At every step, my patients are cared for. We're using the highest standards. We have an inspected facility, so there's no cutting corners. And for a lot of patients, that's a peace of mind. It's not just it provides for a painless experience, painless not only physically, but also emotionally. My patients can shut their eyes and know that things are still going to be done to the very highest standards, and there's a value to that.
And what would you, I guess, in your opinion, say the hesitations are for those seeking hair restoration overseas as opposed to here in Miami or the States? Yeah,
that's a really good question, Bridget. For sure, there are people that are just gonna, their friends have been to Turkey, they know it's cheap, they're gonna get a whole procedure that would, here in the States, would potentially cost with me $30,000, $25,000, $30,000 or even more, they're gonna get for $3,000 or $5,000. And I don't even compete with that. But they are going overseas. They're going into a clinic where the clinic is probably doing anywhere from 3 to 10 procedures per day. They don't know their surgeon. They don't meet their surgeon, whether ahead of time. Now, mind you, most of my patients don't meet with me personally. They meet with me virtually ahead of time, and then they fly and meet with me that morning. But it's one thing to fly to Miami. It's another thing to fly to a foreign, another country. And there's also very little recourse. I mean, if you have issues, you're not given the doctor's phone number. You're not going to get calls back from the nurses. And I see these patients, not uncommonly. I've developed a whole cottage industry of I fix bad Turkish hair transplants. So in some ways, I've turned lemons into lemonade. But for those patients that want to know their physician, want to know he's an American, board certified, in this case, facial plastic surgeon, feels comfortable knowing that I'm involved, that I'm going to be taking care of them. And for those people, it's not a matter of money. And that's, I guess, why people are recognizing that, there's a hand-select group of doctors around the country that are doing what I'm doing. And of course, me being here in Coral Gables, it's, I'm as one of the senior guys doing it, along with my partner, they recognize what they're getting, and they feel comfort in that.